Hollywood, the land of dreams, drama, and glamour, has shaped the global entertainment industry for over a century. Hollywood's journey is full of innovation, artistry, fame, and scandals. The story of Hollywood is more than just cinema. It reflects broader changes in American society and culture, while also exposing some of its darkest secrets. Early beginnings, 1900s, 1920s. Hollywood began in the early 1900s, a time when motion pictures were still a novelty. In 1908, the first movie studio was established in the small town of Hollywood, California, by the Selig Polyscope Company. A few years later, filmmakers started flocking to Hollywood due to its ideal weather, cheap land, and diverse scenery, which allowed for year-round shooting and versatile backdrops for different genres of films. The real turning point for Hollywood came with the founding of several major studios. By 1915, Carl Laemmle had created Universal Pictures, followed by Paramount, Warner Brothers, and Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. These studios rapidly expanded, creating what we now know as the studio system, a powerful conglomeration of companies that controlled every aspect of production, distribution, and exhibition of films. Silent films flourished during this time, with stars like Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, and Mary Pickford becoming household names. Hollywood had captured the imagination of the public, both in the US and abroad, solidifying its place as the heart of the global film industry. The Golden Age of Hollywood, 1920s, 1960s. This was an era marked by elegance, refinement, and the creation of iconic films that defined the art of cinema. The advent of talkies in 1927, with the release of The Jazz Singer, revolutionized filmmaking, making sound an integral part of movies and ushering in a new era of creativity and entertainment. During this period, the Hollywood studio system was at its peak. Studios like MGM, Warner Brothers, and 20th Century Fox controlled nearly every aspect of an actor's career. Stars like Humphrey Bogart, Katharine Hepburn, and Marilyn Monroe emerged as global icons, and the films they starred in, like Casablanca, Gone with the Wind, and Singin' in the Rain, became cinematic classics. Technological innovations, such as color films and widescreen formats like CinemaScope, made films more visually appealing and enhanced the storytelling experience. The Golden Age also saw the creation of the Academy Awards in 1929, establishing a prestigious platform to honor excellence in the film industry. There were many positive changes that happened, like Hollywood exported American culture globally, creating a shared sense of wonder through film. Stars became larger-than-life figures who inspired millions of people. Technological advancements pushed the boundaries of what films could achieve in terms of visuals and storytelling. However, as bright as the Golden Age was, it also had its dark shadows. Beneath the glamour and glitter of the Golden Age lay troubling realities. The studio system, while highly successful in churning out movies, was notorious for exploiting its stars. Actors were tied to long-term contracts, which gave studios immense control over their personal and professional lives. Stars were often forced to change their appearances, names, and even personalities to fit the studio's ideal image. Judy Garland, for example, was subjected to brutal diets and a grueling work schedule that left her mentally and physically exhausted. Moreover, scandals regularly rocked Hollywood, from the murder of silent film director William Desmond Taylor in 1922 to the trial of comedian Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle for the alleged rape and death of actress Virginia Rappe. Hollywood became synonymous with both fame and infamy. The public was equally surprised and repulsed by the misdeeds of its stars. The Hays Code, implemented in 1930, further complicated things. A strict set of censorship rules, the Hays Code restricted what filmmakers could show in terms of sex, violence, and morality. While it attempted to uphold decency, it often suppressed creative expression and reinforced conservative values in films. One of the darkest chapters of this era was the Hollywood blacklist. During the McCarthy era of the 1940s and 1950s, many actors, directors, and writers were accused of having communist sympathies. These accusations, often based on flimsy evidence, led to career-ending blacklists for many talented individuals, including the Hollywood 10, who refused to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee. However, the regulations were in place, and we moved to the next stage of Hollywood, the New Hollywood era. 1970s, 1990s. The late 1960s marked the end of the studio system and the rise of a new kind of cinema, known as New Hollywood. As the power of the major studios waned, filmmakers began to experiment with new storytelling methods, often pushing the boundaries of traditional filmmaking. Directors like Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, and Francis Ford Coppola emerged as the visionaries of this era. Films like Taxi Driver, Star Wars, and The Godfather not only became massive hits, but also changed the way movies were made and perceived. The creative freedom allowed directors to craft more complex, darker stories that reflected the turbulence of the times, such as the Vietnam War and the counterculture movement. There were many positive impacts of New Hollywood. The auteur theory emerged, where directors were seen as the primary creative forces behind their films. Hollywood began to tackle more serious and socially relevant issues, from racism in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner to the horrors of war in Apocalypse Now. The birth of blockbuster films brought in massive revenues and global appeal, but earlier knew a darker side of Hollywood persisted. The freedom that came with New Hollywood also brought excess. Drug abuse, particularly cocaine, became rampant in the 1970s and 1980s, leading to the downfall of many stars. John Belushi's overdose in 1982 was a tragic example of how Hollywood's drug culture consumed its brightest talents. Meanwhile, scandals continued to plague the industry. Director Roman Polanski fled the US in 1978 after being charged with S.A. 13-year-old girl, a case that remains unresolved to this day. Hollywood's party scene also became a breeding ground for exploitation, as power dynamics between producers, directors, and actors led to abuses that would not fully come to light until decades later. The corporatization of Hollywood in the 1980s further complicated matters. Major studios became part of large conglomerates, and the focus shifted towards creating massive, high-budget blockbusters that could generate billions at the box office. This led to the rise of franchises like Star Wars and Jurassic Park, but also meant that artistic risks were less likely to be taken. Filmmakers had to cater to corporate interests and prioritize profitability over creativity. Modern Hollywood, 2000s, present. The 21st century has brought both incredible success and challenges for Hollywood. The rise of streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus has revolutionized the way films and television shows are consumed. Hollywood is no longer limited to the confines of the big screen, and global audiences now have access to thousands of films at the click of a button. The industry has also become more diverse and inclusive. Films like Black Panther and Parasite broke barriers in terms of representation, both in front of and behind the camera. Hollywood has made strides in acknowledging the importance of telling stories from different perspectives. Although there is still work to be done. Positive impact of modern Hollywood. Hollywood's global reach has expanded, with international markets contributing significantly to box office earnings. There has been a growing emphasis on representation, diversity, and inclusion in both films and casting. The rise of streaming platforms has democratized access to content, providing a platform for independent filmmakers. But Hollywood still has a dark side. The #Me Too movement, which erupted in 2017, exposed the widespread sexual harassment and abuse that had long been an open secret in Hollywood. Prominent figures like Harvey Weinstein were accused of using their power and influence to prey on aspiring actresses and staff. The movement empowered survivors to come forward and forced the industry to confront its toxic culture. Additionally, Hollywood's wage gap continues to be a contentious issue. Many actors, particularly women and people of color, have spoken out about being paid significantly less than their white male counterparts. This disparity reflects broader systemic inequalities within the industry. Another dark reality of modern Hollywood is the perpetuation of unrealistic beauty standards. The pressure on actors and actresses to conform to an idealized image has led to body dysmorphia, eating disorders, and mental health struggles. While there has been progress in promoting body positivity and acceptance, Hollywood's obsession with youth and appearance remains a powerful force. Hollywood has always been a land of contrasts. It is a place where dreams are made and broken, where art and commerce collide, and where the line between reality and fantasy is often blurred. While Hollywood has given the world some of its most cherished cultural artifacts, it has also perpetuated scandals, injustices, and excesses. As Hollywood moves forward into an increasingly digital and global future, it will continue to be a place of both inspiration and controversy. Hope you like this nostalgic history of Hollywood. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss our other videos. Check out the video popping on the screen.